Hey everybody, welcome to Spill the Novelty, where three girlies shout into the void about our latest book hot takes and obsessions. I'm Abby,
I'm Maddie.
And I'm Kaylee.
and this week we're doing a little game of this or that book edition. And spoiler, we haven't seen each other's lists, so this episode may be a little unhinged. It'll definitely be spontaneous, but we're just gonna see where it goes. So,
Yeah. Okay, so how this is gonna go is we're gonna each say one this or that, and then we're gonna talk about it. So I'll go first. I'll start out kind of less crazy. So, okay, first one. Say we have a main character who is special because they aren't special. Like, example, they're a human in a vampire world or something like that. Or like a human in a world of fae. I can only think of like a human and something else. But or they're a main character who like thinks they're ordinary, but they're actually special because they have these like wild powers. I already know what Maddie's going to say to this.
Because this is the easiest question I've heard in my life.
All right, Abby, you answer first.
yeah, I like ordinary in a not so ordinary world. Human in a vampire world, something like that. Not like the other girls, but all the other girls are just cool. So
yeah, I'm uncool.
yeah, just quirky, whatever.
Yeah, it raises the stakes. Like you can't. I'm so tired of the special one. You know, they can do everything. I was actually just driving home and I was thinking about this. I was like, I need to write a book where there's specifically like all of these extra, like, oh, only some people can wield fire, and then some people can even wield lightning. And specifically the main character's like, I bet I could do that. And then they go and they're like, no, you actually can't. But your bestie can. Get fucked. Like, you're trash, kid.
You're trash. Kid.
Why was that so specific, Maddie?
I was thinking about
I felt targeted.
What's the
Fourth Wing?
No, I mean, yeah, it does. That does count. I was thinking about the vampire one that we read, and how yeah, I don't know why. That just like driving home, I was like, dang, she really learned how to fly in like 2 hours, and she figured out she had wings, and like, oh
yeah, they're like, girl, I bet
stuff.
you can fly, and she's like, okay, and then they're like, let me push you out a window,
and then she does.
And they're like, okay, and then she flies. Yeah, it'd be cool. Would have been funnier if she just like fell and had to like come rescue her, and she's like, guess you can't fly.
Yeah, like, they don't need to have everything. Amazing. Like, let's build a team that has everything, you know? Sure.
Okay, Avengers.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know.
Yeah,
that has everything. Typical superhero story, but yeah.
Are you on the same side, Kaylee?
I want to say I'm on that side. Like, I like when it's like a human in a whatever world. But the books I typically read, the main character, even if they do seem like they're human, they end up having like powers. So it's like I can't say I'm upset about it when they end up having, like, I really like Serpent, for example.
Yeah.
So when Araya like has all these like powers, I like that. I don't like when they become the most powerful being in the world. I just like when they have like the basic powers that they need to like survive in this crazy world that they're a part of. I like that. So
yeah, I feel like I can literally only think of Jude in the Cruel
that was what
Prince
I thought of
series.
too.
Like, that's the only one that I feel like actually, I don't think she gained anything like particularly supernatural.
She didn't.
She just stayed. She had to stay clever. She had to stay feisty. You know, I can't think of any other series in which they don't at some point change. Because there was. Here I go again. Take a shot. In ACOTAR, Farrah starts out like that, and then at the end of the book, they're like, she now is the Avatar and has all the powers. So
Yeah,
it's
she has
like,
everyone's powers.
yeah,
It was just
that was like the last,
Oh, I forgot
toothpick that
about
I was
that.
holding out on in Akatar. It was like, okay, I kind of like that she's like useless. I like a useless character that has to be clever. Not that she was clever, but yeah. Anyways, I don't know. It's fine.
that is tea. That's the tea. End of episode.
Thanks for joining us,
I
guys.
knew this
We're gonna head
episode
out.
was going to be unhinged. I told y'all before we started this episode was going to be unhinged, and it
Yeah,
already
Kaylee
is.
warned us.
So,
Tough.
all right, who wants to go next?
All right, I can go next. Okay.
Still
So-
laughing, sorry. Okay.
In a magic system, okay,
Mm-hmm.
do you guys like when the magic users have to like study and learn magic? And, you know, this is kind of like goes into the trope of like finding, you know, 6 spells and stuff like that, like Harry Potter kind of magic system. Or do you like better when the magic is like inherently within them and it's like very instinctive and like, boof, I've accidentally popped out a lightning bolt because I'm stressed, kind of a thing?
Stressed?
We love a stressed character.
Well, I was thinking of another character we know that uses lightning bolts, but
Do
doesn't
we
come
talk
out when
about the
she's
same
stressed.
3 books every episode? We're sorry,
That's
guys.
true. That's true. That's true.
Because it's the books we've read together. I would go with the second one just because, as much as I want to say I'm the girly that would like love to read about them learning magic, I do think it gets a little snooze fest.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to be that girl. I aspire to be that girl, but currently I am the other girl where it's just like they already know the magic. We don't have to read about them being like, and then you say, what is the one in Harry Potter?
Expecto Patronum.
Expecto. Yeah, that.
You didn't like the Latin, Kaylee?
I didn't even know that was Latin, to be honest. I'm not going to pretend.
I'm sure it's not real Latin. Surely. It's like
No,
it's like
it's
faux
fake.
Latin flavored text.
Yeah. Makes it sound
yeah.
smart or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm gonna say though, on the flip side. I like their little book moments. I like a little
Yeah.
library, you know, head in the
Nerd-ass.
book, gotta go find the
Mhm.
specific volume from years ago that has all the secrets to the universe or whatever.
Mhm.
So I'd be on the other end. I like the dark academia type stuff but it does get boring sometimes if they're like just hanging out in the library. Like
Yeah.
go get a hobby.
Yeah.
You know, especially like, are we in college? Like go to a
Just
bar.
go try it out.
School
Yeah,
simulator.
let's go.
You don't like that?
Yeah, school simulator. Let's get out of here. You know, we can be here for a bit and then we gotta leave. So
Yeah.
but I do like it.
I do agree. I think like I like an inherent magic just because it feels a little less. Learn magic is fun. I like the bookwormishness of it, but it feels more limited. Cause like if you don't know the spell, you don't know the spell. You got to do the thing, but you only got 3 spells. You know. I did read a series once where it was sort of in the middle. So it was like the way that it worked is like they would load magic energy into these little amulets, and some amulets had like bigger storage and they cost more, whatever. And so you could load magic into your amulet, and then there were like spells and stuff, but could also kind of be like vibes based too. But like you only had X amount of power in your little amulet. So I feel like with learn magic, also there has to be, I guess with both kinds of magic, there has to be some kind of limit. Like you can't just be like spitting out magic left and right. It's important that there's like some kind of medium for it, that adds the stakes to it, you know?
That's cool.
You know,
For some reason, I started thinking about Halloween Town, but
True.
Well, on that note too, one series that I read the first book and started the second book, but I never like finished the series was Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. And shout out to my mom, she loves the series. But the fun thing about that one, I think, is that it's like a good blend of both, because it's this professor who's like studying and learning about the history. I think she studies like alchemy and stuff, so it ends up lending itself to that. But she also is in a bloodline of like a family of witches, and she discovers that later on. So there are like, I believe, like inherent powers that she has, but she's also discovering more about herself by studying and like uncovering things and stuff too. So it's kind of like a fun mix of those two things. And it's very much giving Halloween Town. You know, it's in the family,
Yeah.
you have some inherent magic, and you're also learning it. So
Love that.
It's giving Halloween Town. Yeah.
it's giving
Give it
Halloween Town.
Is it fall
Which
yet,
we
guys?
love. I would watch that any time of year. No joke.
True.
So.
That's true. That's true.
Okay.
All right, Abby.
I will start with no spicy yet. So this is just like a fun how you read question. Do you like to visualize? So we kind of talked about this recently, but when you're reading, do you typically visualize characters, scenery, etc., or are you more of a just like a reading to digest the plot type of person? How do you see the story in your head, basically?
I'm gonna go reading to digest the plot, because I'm always the person that, like, unless it's written just really, really, really well, like, like for example, I'm not saying Sarah J. Maas doesn't write well, because I think she actually does, but I find her characters really difficult to visualize personally. But then I've read books like, let me think of one. I can't think of an example, but
like the Hunger Games.
No.
I always had Katniss pictured as Katniss.
Yeah.
You know, like that, and like they cast Jennifer Lawrence, and I was like, yeah, that tracks. Like, I don't know what Suzanne Collins did differently, but like that's a character description that I was like, bonk. Yes, I know, I get it.
Or even in like Book Lovers, because that's a recent example. They said that like, what's his face? Can't think of his name. He had like a mole. He had like a mole or something. And I like when it gets that granular. Like, I like to be able to visualize that they have a mole on their face, or like they have wrinkles next to their eyes, or like something like that. Bushy eyebrows. Like, those are things I like to hear. Versus like in Sarah J. Maas books, I feel like it's literally just like, she has red hair. Like for Bryce, it's like she has red hair and a very curvy figure, and we're supposed to envision like what Bryce looks like from that. You know what I mean? So it just depends on the writing, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I think so. Like, in terms of like setting and stuff, I never waste the energy to like picture the setting. Low-key, like, they could do the most to describe what the freaking dungeon looks like. I'm head empty, you know. I'm trusting the character to go to the left if there's a door there, whatever. That's not my job. Character descriptions, I'm the same. I read them and then I black them out if they're boring. And like the same, like, he had dark mussed hair that looked messy but also like in place, like it just slay out of my head instantly, you know. It's like the little things that are different that I'm like, oh yeah, Charlie had a mole, you know. But if there's none of that in a book, like, they're like blobs.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, I love, Kaylee, that you give the example of like Charlie with like the mole or like different little distinct features, because I also think that from books that I've read where I have visualized characters, or like Katniss, right? Like, there's almost like a one-to-one of a well-written like personality, like distinct actions and things that characters take to, and being able to visualize them. And what I mean by that is, like, with Charlie, or like with Nora, Nora's appearance matches like her character in a lot of ways, right? Because she's like has this platinum blonde hair, which makes you think kind of like big city businesswoman, right? Like, she's an athlete because she like is this very like disciplined person and stuff. So I feel like a lot of, she's tall because she's kind of has like this commanding presence, or like very businessy, right? Like, so it's like kind of and I know that one also makes sense because she's playing on like romance tropes, and that's kind of like the visual we get with those. But I think when a character's like personality is written well, you like see little aspects of them in their appearance and stuff as well too. So just books I can think of, like, it's almost like one-to-one, like well-written personality, also someone I can visualize and like see that kind of personality come through visually too.
And I do want to note too, like, it doesn't always have to be like their actual appearance. So like Hobbit, you know, take another shot. I'm going to talk about Six of Crows again, but like Kaz Brekker, okay, he always wears gloves, and it's very specific about, he always wears gloves. people do not know what this man's hands look like, and like there's a whole reason for it, but like when I think about Kaz Brecker, I think about those gloves, you know, and like that's what I picture.
Yeah.
Like I see the gloves, I see the hands, you know, so it's
like something that makes them unique.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah,
I mean, everyone like in your life, you know, there's something that you're like, oh, that's so Kaylee, like blah blah blah. It's that stuff needs to be in the book for me to actually like picture a character and have them stand out in my memory.
Yeah,
Totally.
that's fair.
Love it.
Okay, I'll go to the second one. Okay, I'll do one that's still less crazy. So, okay, this or that. So, forced proximity with a little bit of one bed trope, or where they don't have forced proximity and they still like fall for each other. So it's like less forced.
I'm a one-bed girly.
Yeah.
I am too.
I like forced proximity.
Yeah.
But it sounds so icky, like when you think, you know what I mean? That's why I wanted to give one that was like, but they don't have that and they just naturally fall for each other. It sounds so icky when you're like, let's throw them in a room together.
Examples though are like, you know, the forced element is that the situation has forced them to be there. Like they're not, it's not a pressure between the two of them. It's like some sort of situation has put them in this, you know, spot. So I don't know. I like forced proximity.
Yeah, I love forced proximity in general, and I love the one bed trope. And it doesn't even have to be like they're sleeping in the same bed. I love like the she's sleeping in the bed, he's sleeping like on the floor, like leaning next to the bed or something. I have rewritten that scene in Fourth Wing in my head so many times that like it's become canon in my brain that's like Xaden stays in her room after Liam perishes, you know, like that's how that goes in my head. That's how it should have been.
Yeah.
No, I love a one bed trope.
Yeah,
I had that on my actually too, but
Slay.
Oh really? Yikes. We love it.
Okay.
All right.
So
Let's see. What do I have next? Okay, this is something that I didn't know people did. Okay. So when you have a hardcover book that you're reading, a hardcover,
I already know what you're gonna say.
Do you take the cover off to read it, or do you leave the cover on?
Duh.
Yeah.
Who leaves the cover on?
Really?
You leave the cover on?
Yeah.
You do not leave it on.
That thing's so annoying.
It gets all wrinkled.
It's so annoying.
I've never. What
gets
do you
all
do with your
creased.
books? I don't do. Nothing has ever happened to my.
How do you
hardcover
read
books.
like this?
Yeah,
because I move when I read. I
mean, I roll around a lot, but like the book basically is in like that open position. Like I'm never. I don't know. How would you wrinkle it? Bend it back.
But it gets all like.
So
like I'm usually laying on my tummy,
like this.
You know.
I could not read like.
Okay.
You're not a tummy reader?
I think it depends on how you're holding it.
This or that should have been like, what is your reading position?
Well, because I thought what you were going to ask is if you have a hardcover, do you break the spine? And I do. Be mad at it. I don't care.
That. That's twisted.
Be so mad. Be so mad.
You break this.
Yeah. So
does that mean you like?
I don't like necessarily intentionally do it, but I will. So like, I have an old Harry Potter here. This isn't a good example, but you can see all the little creases. It's because I like will go like this.
Oh my gosh, that kills me. I like to keep my books in like pristine condition unless I hate the book. If I hate the book, I will drop in a swimming pool. I don't care. But if I like the book, I'm like very gentle with it.
I don't break it on purpose, but I'm not very precious about my book. Like I don't know, like it's just there to be read, and like I find it kind of charming when books are very well read. You know, like you see like a library book that's been through 500 hands. I'm like, that's cute. She's been well read. She's been loved. So that doesn't bother me. But yeah, I leave the cover on. I don't know. Like what? I don't know. Corner gets messed up. What? I ain't reselling it. It's okay. You wouldn't even believe how many books have been destroyed from my possession because my dogs chew them, and I put them bitches right back on the shelf. I'm like, that's fine. You're chewed now.
Cover off, spine broken.
Crazy.
We're getting into
you're
it.
You're unhinged on both sides, Abby. How is that possible?
Abby.
just
Always.
abusing this book. I've seen
Abby
people
hates
who
books.
have I actually hate to read. Um, uh, I've seen so many people get so mad about the
Yeah.
spine. And I get if people don't like the intentionally breaking, and I don't set out to do it, but I am almost bound to, like, I'm going to do it with pretty much any book.
Yeah.
It's like a habit.
But yeah, it's just kind of, well, and also, little fun side note, we love discovering little ADHD personality traits later in life. I always have flipped books, so like I am not still when I read. I'll just like flip
Yeah.
like this, kind of like make noise almost.
Interesting.
And my parents would
She's
be like,
stimming.
please stop. Yeah. So I'm always just like, wee, wee, wee. But no, people get heated about that. So
One thing that I
bad.
do is because I like to like eat while I read or like do other
Yeah.
things while I read. You know, I read physical books most of the time, as you guys know. So
Mhm.
I'll like lay my book down and then put like something on it to like weigh down the pages while I read.
Yes.
It's really inconvenient, but like I would just thought of I could totally get like they make these things for piano books while you play piano where it like it holds the piano book open so you don't
Yeah.
have to like break the spine and like
Yeah.
curve it
Even
open.
like a
So maybe I
cookbook
should get one of those.
stand.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I need to
Yeah.
get
They
that.
have those for like bathtub too. If you've seen the little like cat or the little tray that you can put if you're in a bath, if you like reading in the bath or something, they'll have one that
Yeah.
opens, keeps your book open,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which is so nice. We love it.
Fun.
Sorry if you guys can hear my dog howling.
That's okay. They have a lot of feelings about leaving the cover on.
They do.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Where are we at? That was yours, Maddie. Okay, it's my
Yeah.
turn. All right.
It's you, baby
Let's
girl.
see. Okay. Long chapters or short chapters? And I know it might seem like an
Ooh,
easy
that's a good
question,
one.
but
Short all the way.
short.
Really?
That's an easy one for me. I don't like when it's long because chapters are like my stopping point.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I can go like I can read a chapter and I don't know how to explain this. Like if it's long, it's kind of annoying to me because like say I want to go like do the dishes or something, I have to wait till I read the end of the chapter. So if it's
Mhm.
like a 50-page chapter, that's really irritating to me because I'm like, I just want to get to the end and I'll probably skim a lot. But like short chapters, you constantly have those stopping points. So like if you need to stop and go do something else, it's a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need like a super long chapter. Like I think 50 pages is definitely too much, but I've read books where it's like every chapter is like 3 pages and I'm like, stop. Like we don't have to take this big of a breath between like every single like scene change. Like it's annoying if your book has like 207 chapters across like 300 pages, like just relax. You don't stop. Why? Just
The little
do
like
I
like,
like that.
hit a return, and then keep going, girl. Like it's fine.
I don't like. I'm the total opposite. I hate when they do like a little like symbol or something
Yeah,
to.
Really?
Yeah,
That's what I was about to
yeah.
say, because
I hate
the
that.
little sparkle, the
Time
little like star.
passes.
Time passes.
Just to indicate it's a
Um,
change of setting.
Okay, so that was my compromise, is that I either like short chapters or I like longer chapters with the little like star line thingy, the little, because I can also
What is
like
it called?
I don't know, what is this thing called? Anyone?
A
Is it a
break.
page break?
Page
But, like
break?
decorative.
Decorative page break.
Page break, but make it cute. Yeah, I like those, because like if I bookmark a page and return later, most time I'll go to the end of one of those thingies, or to the beginning of one of those thingies.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could do that. I don't know why, but it's like a brain thing for me. Like it's something I've set, probably something self-inflicted, but like I'm like I have to get to the end of the chapter or I
I'm that
cannot
way
stop
too,
reading this book.
Kaylee. I'm also a get to the end of the chapter kind of girl. And that was actually one of the this or that's I wrote down, is that like I found out that some people stop mid-chapter specifically to take a break.
Oh,
And to
specifically?
come back later.
Okay.
What?
I will
Must be
stop
nice.
mid-chapter
I
sometimes.
wish I could do that.
But it's not, I always regret it when I do. Like I don't like to do that, because I'm always like, what happened?
If I'm stopping
Where was I at?
mid-chapter, it's not a good chapter. Let me not say it's not a good book. It's not a good chapter. It's boring. If I can set it down in the middle of a damn chapter,
That's true.
girl, what? Usually I can't even stop after one chapter because like if the chapters are written good, like I'm like, damn, what's gonna happen next? I do.
Yeah.
Pet peeve side note of this is like, and this works whether it's like the actual end of a chapter or whether it's the thing. Is I can't stand when we're having like, you know, an intense scene and like someone says something crazy and then in the next scene we're just like on to the next day. I'm like, what was said after that? You gotta tell me how this person responded to that crazy love confession. We can't just move on. Like, I want to know how it ended. I've given my life for you. Who do you think donated the heart? It was Harry Styles. And then it just cuts to like the next day.
Was that your fanfic?
Okay, I was not a directioner, but I've read many a fanfic of such things. Yes. But I wonder
That
what
was
they
very
said, because
specific.
how would you reply to that? I don't know. You know? Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, that's a good point. Like I said, I do it sometimes, but now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, most of the time when I'm stopping midway, it's because I'm just not super interested. And then I come back and I forget where I was anyway, which is just like a sign that it's not
Yeah.
giving what needs to be giving, you know? It's slow.
Yeah. T.
Yeah. T.
All right. I have a fun one.
Okay.
And this is a would you rather. This isn't really this or that, but would you rather read a Colleen Hoover book willingly or have to finish the Book of Azrael?
I think I almost want to say Colleen Hoover because I've never read a Colleen Hoover book, so I would like to say that I had to have more license to hate on it. But at the same time, I don't want to be traumatized. And I don't think Book of Azrael will traumatize me in the way that Colleen Hoover could.
Yeah. So I get to...
Which one's shorter?
Colleen Hoover books are pretty short, but they're so bad. I'm sorry.
I'm so tempted
and for
to,
anyone who
like...
hasn't listened to our our DNF episode, we DNF'd Book of Az real hard. And so that's why this is a this or that question.
Well, and I get to kind of cheat on this one since I have technically read a Coho book. But I will actually...
You have to read another one.
I'm in the same boat, I think, as you, Maddie, where like I haven't read This Ends With Us or anything like that, and I kind of want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all see? Okay, side note. Sorry, we're gonna use this to dunk on
the
Colleen
makeup
Hoover again. Did you see the makeup, or like was it nail polish or something?
Oh, it might have been nail polish.
The Olive and June collab. I'm so annoyed because I really like Olive and June as a company, and then I saw they were doing a Coho collab, and I was like, well, damn. You guys are
people are like, I'm sorry, the abuser nail polish? Like, what is
domestic violence?
I was so disappointed.
Nail polish with a hint of domestic violence.
Yeah.
That's horrible. They have coloring books too.
Yeah, they do.
I remember because they stopped making those, right? Like
they did.
I feel like that was the outcome. So I'm like, and what led us to then decide
Did you not
to
learn
make
your
nail
lesson?
polish?
But I tell you what, people in those comments are eating it right up. They're
nail polish?
so hyped for it. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm telling you, there's a whole world of mainstream readers that, and like part of me, I'm like, I love that you guys can be so disconnected and just like what you like and like live your lives. But like it's a completely different universe. There's like a whole big subsection of people that are just like, I don't know. They just...
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with liking mainstream stuff. I'm right there with you. I love a lot of the big hits, but like that's not one of them. That's
like
not going to be one of them.
To the discourse, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, I yearn for...
Let's not do that.
The ignorance because
there's so many good romances and stuff out there, dude. Let's not do that one. Yeah. So yeah, but with all that being said, yeah, I think I would actually pick up one of those just to find out about it because I just don't feel like reading Book of Azrael. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I think I would finish Book of Az.
Really?
Fair enough.
Saucy.
Then you could report back to us. That's how much
I hate Colleen Hoover books, and I've read 2 of them.
If
I had to read another one,
the thing. You've already gone through enough, you know.
Yeah.
You've suffered enough.
If I had to read another one, I would rather read Book of Azrael. I really would.
Yeah.
And it's terrible, so that's
a good one. It's a good question. I like
All
it.
right. Who next?
It's me next. Okay. This is kind of like a this, that, or the third, rather than
Okay.
just a this or
Okay.
that. But
Okay.
for saving your place in a book, presuming a physical book, are you a dog ear person or a bookmark person or an I'll remember the page number person?
This is one of mine.
Is it really?
Even though I didn't have a third option. I like the third option. I'm dog ear all the way.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Just add that.
Abby,
I'm just
girl,
bullying these
what?
books.
Are
Just,
you okay?
She hates
I'm fine.
reading.
The books might not be though. Yeah. No, dog ear.
She hates reading, guys.
I've tried to be a remember the page person. My memory sucks, so I should know better than do that. And then I like if I have a cute bookmark, I'll use it. But I don't like go for using it. I just
Yeah.
if it's around, I'll use it.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
I am a remember the page person, but not the page number. Because I try to use bookmarks, but I forget about them or I'm too lazy to go get them from the other room. But I'm more of a remember the scene person. Like I will
Ooh.
just kind of like
Okay.
flip to a page and be like, oh, I've already read this or I haven't read this yet. And then I'll just go through and
I'm impressed, to be clear. I could simply never. I have to
Yeah,
like
that's
when I
me.
get to when I open where I'm supposed to be, I have to like take like at least 20 seconds to remember what I'm like position myself in the moment. Be like, okay, this was what was happening. Let me get back here.
Okay,
So I
that's because
can't.
you read 7 books at a time, Abby.
No, even if it's just like a single book, like ask me. Well, that is also probably part of the reason I should be
AMA.
doing that. But like, I don't know. I feel like I would not be able to. If you asked me the last thing that happened in the book I'm reading, I wouldn't be able to tell you on the fly. Like I'd have to be like, okay, yeah, here's where we were.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, I'm
I
impressed.
I'm a remember the page person. I don't know why. I've just always been able to do this. I just know my page all the time. I try to use bookmarks, but I was like especially like when I was in my youthful like consuming books, like 10 books a week kind of era.
Mm-hmm.
If I did like DNF'd a book, like the bookmark is gone forever. It's still in the book as
Yeah.
it stands. And so like I just
Yeah.
never had enough bookmarks to be a bookmark girly. But I have like I can't remember anything. My brain is ADHD riddled. I've forgotten major life events that my partner is like, do you remember when we went here? And I'm like, we never did that. You know, but if you ask me where on the page this character said this line, I know, and I can flip through because I know it was in the first 3 lines of that page. I can find it. I know it's in the middle of the page. I know it's here. I know it's on the left. I know it's on the right. Like I have this weird photographic memory for books, and I think
That's
it
cool.
uses all of my brain
That's very
cells.
cool.
And I didn't choose this life, and I probably would reallocate the skill points in other ways if I had the opportunity. But page numbers, locations of like where things were said, like only for physical books though. Kindle kind of takes
I
some
love
of
that.
that away. So
My fatal flaw is thinking I can do that. That's why I end up having to flip to a random page and being like, have I read this? Because like, yeah, my fatal flaw is thinking I'm going to remember things. And so never writing them down or setting a reminder and then forgetting them.
mm-hmm.
That's me.
And then for me, it's like when I read, I'd say the flip side of ADHD brain is like I'm not good at remembering details stuff. So I look more for like thematic, like tie-ins and stuff like that. So I think that's why I was good in English classes because I didn't have to always remember the little nitty-gritty details, but I could tell you like without even reading the book, I was like, okay, I know thematically like
The
what we're getting at
vibes.
here. Yeah, I know the vibes, I know the themes, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I can look at it more like bird's eye view and see the connecting threads. But I'm gonna forget specific things like where this quote was and stuff like that. But that's cool. It's a cool way of reading.
Yeah,
I like it.
just like
All right. So this one's romance. Well, not romance specific. Let's say romanticy, maybe. This is a fun one. Spice or no spice? And maybe a little bit more complicated than that. Like, would you okay? Would you prefer no spice or like overdone spice? You know what I mean? In a
Ooh.
romanticy.
Is the no so then are we assuming the no spice is well
We're talking
done?
about like cruel print. Oh, okay.
Oh,
I was gonna give an
Cruel Prince
example.
has some
So
spice.
okay, so relationships
Are you talking about the
still
series or
like
the book specifically?
I'm talking about the
uh
series.
It has spice. It's a little. It's not a lot.
They
It's got some
kiss.
spice.
It has YA spice.
Are you?
It's a fade to black.
You're fucking with me, bro.
It's a fade to black.
Okay, sorry. This is. We will take this
I'm
offline.
like, I haven't read it yet. No, the cheat. Okay, so let me give some parameters. Okay. Yeah, kissing I don't consider spice.
That's not spice.
I'm
Fade to black
adult
isn't spice.
Adult spice. Not making out, right? Like, you know what I'm saying. Do we prefer would you prefer to read a series that like straight up doesn't have that? Or one that has a lot of it?
Well, my examples in my head are Cruel Prince, which has no spice. Sorry, Maddie.
Mhm.
It's a fade to black. Any YA is a fade to black. Or Savage Lands, which I've told y'all about. Like it ends up having way too much spice.
Okay.
Which like takes over the book. I would rather read a no spice book like Cruel Prince again than read like a Savage Lands again. Because like when there's too much, it gets like it overpowers the book, and like it starts to feel really icky too. Like you're just like, do you guys even like talk? Like,
Yeah.
do you like do you have anything else to do? Like, when are you eating meals? Like that type of thing.
Yeah.
Get it?
And
What kind of
it
hobbies?
it feels icky. Yeah.
Let's start at hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you?
There are a couple factors to this for me. One of them is that like I will often like skip chapters in books that are too spicy because like it's boring. I'll just like skip a spice chapter, and go to the next. And I think like the issue with that too is this is one writer writing spice 15 times in a book. Like there's only so much you can say. Like the human mind. There's only so many ways you can describe this, and like for me, I'm like, I get it, girl. Like that's fine. It's okay. So part of me was like, oh well, I could just skip the chapters, but then like you said, Kaylee, like it is something that just becomes indicative of the type of content you get in the rest of the book as well. And so I feel like with a no spice book, you tend to get more actual interaction with the characters to kind of like be the build up or like the emotional spice of it all. So a good no spice book is better than a bad all spice book, even though I want spice.
I agree. 100%. That's mine easily. Is I'd prefer none to too much.
But I gotta have at least a kiss. Not that that's spice, but like you gotta give me.
I don't consider
Oh,
that. Yeah, I don't consider a kiss spice.
No,
No, it's not spice.
it's not. But I need a conclusion of some kind. I do get kind of irritated at a fade to black though, especially because I see so many people do like they'll be getting in like say a saucy, okay, a heavily barbecue sauced kissing scene, and then they fade to black, and I'm like, girl, you already talking about feeling this girl up, like just who are you protecting here?
Yeah.
Go on.
Well, someone that does it really well is Samantha Shannon, because in Priority and a Day of Fall Night, it's like it's not fade to black, but it's not super detailed, which I kind of like that. Like I don't need every detail necessarily. Because we can use our imaginations, right? But
yeah, or like implied.
But it's implied stuff. Yeah. I kind of like that.
I do too.
Personally.
I do too. Well, and I think the key too with like a Samantha Shannon is I feel like I think we're thinking, the same characters, and I think the build up for that relationship and that dynamic like takes so long, and I don't know, it was written really well too, to where like that to me, like them being together at all, like is the payoff, you know? So I think it also depends on like how well written your characters are. Like sometimes you just straight up don't need it because even them being together, the tension there like is enough.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. Word.
word.
Okay.
I like it. All right.
All right. So this or that, 2 twists. One twist is that the main character dies for real,
Okay.
or the other twist is we think the main character is going to end up like with one person, but they end up with another person. Which would you rather have?
Dying for real.
Really?
For sure. Oh yeah.
That surprises me
I
because you're not a main character dying person.
Yeah. That is
oh I
surprising.
am.
You are?
Like yeah, if it makes sense for them to. Oh yeah. I'm
not
always
saying it makes
within,
sense. I'm saying it's like a twist. Like it's like
oh,
you're
like a
not
shock.
expecting it at all. It's kind of like it's more for shock value. Yeah. Either both of them are for shock value.
Oh, okay.
I think for me, I like I'd rather have they start out with one person and end up with another. I think that is fun. I think it's hard to pull off the main character dying in a way that makes sense. Even though no one does it, but like I also think it's hard to do in a way that makes sense for the series that's not just like a shock value thing.
I'm thinking like
'cause I'm
Divergent
thinking
for some reason.
that's what I'm
Is that what
thinking
you're thinking
of.
of too?
Yeah, and I think that is proof to what you're saying, though, Maddie, because we were pulling from the same example because there aren't many of them, I think, in books that
Yeah.
we've read.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like just being like, yes, like that, because it made so much sense. So I guess part of it too, when I think of shock value, this might not be the right interpretation, but I think of it as not making sense, right? Like it's a poor choice, or it's just like
Yeah.
to elicit a response. Whereas like
Yeah.
for Divergent, I think it was surprising the main character died because you don't see anyone do that, but it absolutely made sense for the series. Like it, and I think a lot of times, yeah. So I don't know. That's what I was thinking of, and I did really like that, but
It's
I've only
like
seen
a
it
Venn
happen like once or
diagram.
twice.
Like the one circle is like authors who are willing to kill their main character, and the other circle is like authors who have a main character that like it would make sense for them to perish, and then like there's like a centimeter of overlap. Because most authors do not have the balls to kill a main character even when it makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. Or like I'm torn. Even I'm thinking of like the Hunger Games, right? Like part of me was about to say that like I feel like Katniss should have died, but you know what, honestly, no. I think though that like that epilogue is so important because you're seeing that they're learning to like live again, and like
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, that's a good question. I would like to think
more
die, but
sad that she didn't die, because it's just like,
in
I don't
some
know,
ways,
the
yeah.
epilogue to me was very, I don't even think it was bittersweet. I don't even think there was a lot of sweet in it. Like it was mostly very like sad, and like we did it, but at what cost, you know? And so I feel like it would have almost been like a merciful choice for Katniss to just be able to be like, see y'all later. But instead she has to live with everything that happened, you know?
Yeah, like I get the sense that she is happy in that moment,
Yeah.
and like her and Peter are happy together, happy to have a family and everything, but they will always carry like
It's
that will
always
never
colored.
ever ever leave them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a sepia tone on her life now.
Yeah.
I think I would.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I would go with the person dying for shock value, but you guys already knew I would pick that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a hoe for that one.
I am.
I'm here for an MC death for sure, but I just
especially
see it
if
so
you're not
rarely.
expecting it and it's kind of not for any reason. I'm here for that.
Can it ever happen? Assuming it's like a series book, can it ever happen in book 1 and then book 2 continues with someone else? Are we open to that idea? Or does it always have to be
I like
at the end
that.
of the series?
No, I like where it's like totally unexpected. Like that's even better.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I will say, pulling Divergent as an example, one thing that pissed me off was that so Triss dies, whatever, at the end of the book. Sorry if you haven't read it, get to it. And then
Get to it.
for and Christina, so like her mans and
Ew.
her besties seem like they're like getting together at the end of the book, and you're like, for what?
I don't like that.
That was a weird way to tie that up. We didn't have to have
I
all
don't like
that.
that. I don't like
Yeah.
that.
No.
Anyway, sorry. What were
Puts a
you gonna
bad
say,
taste
Maddie?
in my mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's icky. Okay. Oh, it's me. Hello, everyone. Okay. You guys are a little bit more spicy than mine. How about, okay, this is gonna seem obvious because there is a correct take on book talk, okay? But would you rather have movie covers or the original cover?
Ew. Definitely original.
Yeah, definitely
I
original.
hate movie covers. I do not like them.
I do too. Sorry.
And if you say anything else, you're wrong.
Okay. Moving on. Go ahead, Abby.
No.
Are
you're
you
not.
a
Okay,
movie
okay,
cover
listen. Relax, okay?
I can't relax. It's going to keep me up at night.
I have just seen some horrific original covers when books were not expected to be popular, okay? And they pop off and you look at their original cover art and it's the ugliest thing you've ever seen in your damn ass life. And sometimes this is repaired by like a second edition gets released with like a much better cover, okay? But there are some terrible original covers out there. And I don't love a movie cover, but there are some times where I've opted to get the movie cover because the original cover is so like ugly. But I also think it depends a lot on
But
like the
movie
publishing
covers are
house and how
often
they
ugly.
design the movie
The
covers.
movie covers
because
are
there's
so
some that are really
ugly.
cheesy. Yeah, there's some that are really cheesy, but
Like the Divergent one is coming to mind since we just talked about Divergent. And those
Yeah.
covers were terrible.
I did not like that. But the Divergent series had a good original cover. Okay, I guess this is what I'm saying is like I'm not an original cover cultist. I'm a whatever cover I like best. And like sometimes
Okay.
that might be like the UK edition. There's like but like there's this like loyalty to the original or like first edition cover that I think is unnecessary.
I see. For the sake of having
Right. This is the
Okay,
original. This
for
is the
me,
first edition. I'm
I
not
agree.
loyal to that.
So I would agree with that. I'm not like loyal to a cover type. Now it does happen for me that like I'd say 9.5 times out of 10 I
Yeah.
happen to not like the movie cover.
Yeah.
But like if I wouldn't just like for collector's sake
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
You know.
Like I would rather get like a special edition cool cover than like a
Mhm.
first edition book in a lot of
Yeah.
series because the first edition covers they're fine. Usually they're fine, but like they're not a slay. Like I would rather have something that is special edition, not very special because you can just order it versus a rare first edition with an ugly cover.
Yeah, like Akatar. Those have original, really ugly covers, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
But I like
exactly.
But I wouldn't like a movie cover, so I would still pick the first edition over the movie cover.
Yeah.
And you know what it is?
If there were
I'm
one.
glad that you mentioned the Akatar one because the reason why that cover I feel like is so ugly is because you have like the outline of like Pharaoh on
A
it, or like
body.
the person, kind of like the body. And I think that's what it is like I've most of the time just don't want to see a person on the cover. Or like
Same.
I don't want them
Yes.
to be the focus, you know?
Yes, that was literally. I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh my gosh, this is a sub, this or that I need to ask." But yeah,
Something
don't
about that
want
gives me
people
the
on
ick. I don't know
covers.
why.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just
Or I like
tacky.
it. I like it in like one dark window. I like when it's in a distance or something, or like a shape
Yeah.
of someone,
Vibes
because then you can
based.
still use your
Yeah.
it's more vibes.
Or
I like
like
Yeah.
that.
again, I'm just pulling
No,
her
that's
apart
an
because I have
ugly
a vibe.
cover,
But like
Abby. Don't bring that up as
Which
an
one?
example of a cute cover.
Yeah, seriously.
You're
Set that
joking.
back down, girl.
It's a
Dog ear that
kid's
page.
oh well, first of all, I have. You think this is an ugly kids cover?
First of all, I have.
It ain't cute.
It's
Like
not, it's
I
not.
would never
Guys.
if I'm setting up a shelf, right? And I'm choosing a book to display frontward, it's not that book. That's for damn
Dude.
sure.
Look at the unicorn, the pretty little sky, the colors, Harry, the castle, Harry. The only bad part is this like scholastic thing. I wish that was gone. But like the
No.
font.
No,
Do not
girl.
like.
The art style's bad.
It is.
Anyways, okay.
Oh my, did you see the sass there?
That's the sassiest Abby's ever gotten with us. That's funny.
Wow, rude.
We gotta
Abby's
pull it
leading
in
the
the
pod.
more. Yeah.
If Abby's not in the next episode, this is the reason why.
Yeah, this was
breaking
my
up.
last one. I'm retiring. Goodbye. But I was gonna say, you know, a movie cover that would eat, and I don't think they made it into a movie cover, but talking about Hunger Games, right? The Mockingjay, you already know what I'm about to say, I think. The photo shoot for Mockingjay, where they were like in the throne,
Yeah.
where Katniss was like sitting in the white throne.
Yeah.
That would eat as a movie cover. I would probably get that one as a movie cover.
Well, and I
would
think
not.
But that's
to
a
be
rare
fair, like the movie covers are often soiled by bad casting. So there's like a little asterisk there where it's like that's not how
I
they
wish
look. But like
I
Hunger
had
Games
with
slay.
me. I used to have a copy of a movie cover for Wuthering Heights, and I think there was like a TV show in the early 2000s or something for it. And so it was like more like modernized version. So they're wearing like the low-rise jeans and stuff. Like this is not like it's not like a period piece. It's like they're wearing like Y2K.
It's like 1996
Like the Romeo and Juliet. Yeah.
Yeah, but not
Same
cool. Like not like a Baz Luhrmann. Like just cringy. And that was the only cover of it I had, so I read Wuthering Heights with that copy, and I hate it, but also like it holds a place in my heart because I'm reading this classic, and the cover is just like these girls with their like low-rise jeans and their like serious face. Yeah. Anyway.
Y'all remember Logan Lerman?
Yeah.
I would have bought a book
course.
with
Jackson.
him on it back in the day. I would have.
That's a good point.
Wasn't he Percy Jackson?
He was.
Yeah.
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 Now
No,
they've
that's
casted
an
an
excellent
actual
point.
child to play
Percy being a
Percy,
wallflower.
which is like
Now it's actually realistic. Yeah.
it's accurate, but I'm so much less interested.
Where Annabeth is like a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
In the original.
Right. Literally.
Like,
yeah.
Okay. I don't like. I'm not actually not interested in watching an 11-year-old do a flip.
I've heard it's good, but
Nope.
It's okay.
But I also think of like the Lotus Hotel scene,
Yeah.
and I, like how it went so hard in the
Yeah.
first movie. I know that people don't
Yeah.
like the first movie that much, but like I'm like it can't possibly be that good in the new one, right?
I kind of liked the first movie, and I'm not usually like a.
I liked it too, but I'm saying like
I
I
liked
know
it.
that people
I ate
don't.
up
I was
Percy
in, like, sixth grade.
Jackson. Like I'm usually like a purist, right? Like, I don't like that they changed that, but like, I kind of think they ate it up, honestly. I don't know. Anyways,
You know what? This is gonna influence my next one. I just came up with one on the fly. Okay, since we've just happened to talk about Divergent and Hunger Games, so I'm gonna do it. Divergent movie soundtrack or Hunger Games movie soundtrack.
Divergent.
Did we listen to those? Sorry, maybe this is too.
can
Maybe I
we
should
name
have done
some
this, but...
songs from the soundtrack?
Okay.
Divergent
Yes.
had the one.
I don't
that
consume
one
media
song
this
by.
way.
Ellie Goulding was on it.
What was
Not
that
my
one
favorite.
song by?
Like Run Girl Run song that was like when they're like
Sing on the internet, Abby. Go ahead, take us away.
Never.
M83. The I Need You by M83.
Yeah, M83, Ellie Goulding, like that kind of sound versus Hunger Games had like the Civil Wars. Sorry, this was not.
I think
This was
it's
not the
Hunger
topic.
Games.
I just got excited.
I'm kind of summoning
Okay.
them in my brain. I don't like I overall didn't really love the Divergent movies. I kind of hated them. It actually made me kind of DNF
got
the
really bad.
series.
That's
Like I
fair.
never read the
Yeah.
last book. I found out that what's her face dies from
Oh, really?
low key.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh,
it's
well,
I was never gonna revisit it. It's not.
yeah.
I'm 27. But yeah, I DNF'd because the movies gave. I also have an unreasonable dislike of Shailene Woodley. So as soon as they cast her, I was like, "Fuck this series! I hate this girl."
I love Shailene.
I don't know
Woodley.
why. She did nothing to me on site. I said that's my enemy. I don't like her.
No, I liked her
Well, that's a
growing
you
up,
problem,
and then
It is a me
and-
problem.
Oh,
But it's
and
still
then
a
I stopped
problem.
liking her later on. But I did like her a lot when she was like the it girl
No,
for
she's so
that
annoying.
kind of like
She's terrible
moment
at
in
Yeah,
time.
because she did the Fault in Our Stars at
Fault
that
in Our
exact.
I hated that
Stars,
too!
Divergent.
She ruined all my favorite books back then, man. I don't know how she became the
Damn.
it girl. She's so
It was her
boring
fault.
to look at. Her acting is so bad. Did you guys see the this isn't her fault for the record, but like I saw a clip that was like showing that she screamed like once in Divergent, and they like copy pasted the audio file over like a bunch of random scenes, the same exact scream, and like it doesn't make any sense. It's so bad.
That's kind of
I
funny.
know exactly what you're talking about.
It's so funny. That's not her fault. That's not her fault, but it is funny.
I love her. I love her in everything
No.
she does.
No.
Okay, bye.
I see
I thought
Shailene
she was
Woodley,
good
it's
in all
on
those,
site.
but
She's one of my favorite actresses. So
That's
I'm kind
crazy.
I feel this feels personal to me.
I'm sorry.
oh,
I'm sorry to say that.
Ooh.
Is this a good time to mention that I also really disliked Miley Cyrus?
now I'm
I'm
offended.
a Miley fan. Oh,
I knew
Miley.
So
that
now
would
we're
hit you hard.
Not really her music, but I like her.
All
as a
right,
person.
Maddie has to get booted off by the band's breaking up.
I tried to tell y'all that I'm a hater, like on God for real, and you didn't believe. You thought it was cute at first, and then now look at you. This is where I get left in behind. The next week, the podcast is gonna be just me, y'all. It's just gonna be me bitching.
I won't sidetrack this, but I will after be assured after this call. I'm gonna be like, "What's your problem with Miley?" We're gonna be going at it. Rest assured, we will solve this once and for all.
It can't be solved.
Okay.
What is it?
Anyway.
Anyway, cannot be changed.
Okay.
Okay.
Where were we?
This is my last one, and I just thought of it. Okay.
Okay.
So, an audiobook with a really terrible narrator.
Oh,
Like, it's horrible to listen to. Like, Fourth Wing. Or a book with a lot of POVs and you don't care about them all.
Ooh.
may I choose to die by the sword instead?
No.
Yeah.
You have to pick one.
Option 3.
You have to read the whole thing
Neither.
or listen to the whole thing.
Ugh.
Okay. This is a good one, Kaylee. Unfortunately. Let's see.
Okay, for what it's worth, I did finish Fourth Wing with a terrible narrator. So, but I also finished that Hell book with all the POVs. So, I wish I had DNF'd one of them so that it would be an easy answer.
Okay, I'm gonna say audiobook.
Yeah, at least I can make fun of the
Because-
narrator.
Yeah, and because cheat code, I can like do other tasks while I'm listening to an audiobook. You know, I could be like cleaning or on a walk or something, so I can kind of like, I don't know, focus part of my attention somewhere else versus like having to be locked into a book where I don't like it, like physical book.
Yeah, there is an argument for POVs though, because I can just skip the chapters that I don't want to.
But let's say really vital stuff happens during those chapters.
I might just be lost for a
Chapters.
minute.
During
that's
those
all.
chapters.
Chapters.
This is another thing I'm not precious about.
No, but what if
wanna
you can't
skim it-
skip? Like you have to listen to the book in full. You have to read the book in full.
Yeah, I said you had to read the book in full.
Yeah.
You can't skip either.
Are you guys bullying?
She already
me
gave us the
today?
rules.
I already said audiobook. Stop yelling at me.
All right.
But
all
I'm
right,
gonna
fine.
complain about it.
I would choose audiobook too, because I read all Fourth Wing. Or listened
Yeah,
to it.
listen
But I
to it.
read it. Yeah.
Yeah. Bless her.
Yeah, yeah. Audiobook.
All right.
I think they're
All right.
redoing the audiobook. I saw something. There's like a graphic audiobook
They are.
now. I don't even know what
Yeah.
that
Oh.
means. The pictures just pop
Oh.
up with like it's a children's book. Like that's where we're at now.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I don't know.
I thought they were redoing it to where they were like multiple characters.
Yeah. I think so
Yeah.
because I've seen a guy on Instagram that Rebecca Yaros keeps reposting and he's Taryn or whatever. And people are like, oh my God, now Taryn is hot. And I was like, joke's on you. Taryn was always hot. Shut up.
True.
Yeah, yeah. Like we're just now figuring this out.
Karen
Yeah.
has daddy energy.
Really? Truly?
He does.
Anyways, okay. Back to me. Okay. Horrific breakup trope. Okay, your third act breakup reason. Would you rather it be the ex comes back in the picture and the main gworl is just irritated by this and it's like, I can't do this anymore? Or would you rather it be just like miscommunication trope? Which hell are you choosing?
I guess the first one. They're both bad.
They're both bad.
I hate miscommunication tropes so much. It'll make me like nearly DNF. That's how much I hate it.
Yeah.
Like Bridge Kingdom, y'all know I hated that book.
I'm thinking because, like, yeah, I don't like miscommunication tropes either. I also don't really like the X thing, though. Like, I like it briefly if it's just for, like, oh, I'm jealous, blah, like, but as, like, a reason to actually break up, I don't know about that. Maybe I'll go with miscommunication trope.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have. I hate miscommunication trope, but I think the X thing is so tired. Even when it is just like, oh my god, I'm especially irritated when it's like they write it so the X comes back in the picture and they like hate each other at first, and then the X is like, actually, I'm like so happy for you,
So cool.
and like
yeah,
she's so chill and like wholesome, and I'm like, me to the author, you really thought you were doing something, didn't you? You really thought you
it's like y'all
healed
could
all of womanhood
not be
with
enemies,
this.
but also like not be besties. You don't
Like
have to
it's
be, like,
so
pals.
tacky. Like, bro, exes, like people dating the same human are not friends, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We don't have
Yeah.
to do this.
They don't have to be enemies either. Like, they don't have to beef for no reason.
No,
They
they
also
just
don't
be
have to be
chill. They
pals.
coexist.
In fact,
yeah.
they don't have to
coexist.
speak ever.
Right. They don't have to ever acknowledge each other.
not.
Ever. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like, I think the thing too is that there's a lot of different ways a miscommunication trope can happen. Derogatory. But the other thing too is, like, with exes, like, there has to be a very compelling reason for that to be the reason for a breakup. Like,
And there
it can't,
never
I don't
is.
know. And it never is.
There never is.
I
The
feel
third
like,
act breakup is tough. I gotta give it to romance writers. It's tough to make a good third act breakup because usually it's literally just to tick the box, you know? I hate it. It's
Right.
bad.
Right.
Bad. L.
Good point. Good point. Okay. What do I have? Is this our last one? We have one more after
Yeah.
this.
I think this is our last one. Yeah.
This is it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Main characters with mommy issues? Or main characters with daddy issues?
I'm gonna go daddy issues because, yeah.
We think of some of the ones that we read recently.
Who's mommy issues?
And you can, the ties, mommy issues, Song
Violet.
of Achilles.
Oh, you're so right.
Violet, Song of Achilles for
Definitely Song of Achilles.
Daddy issues.
Achilles?
We obviously have
Who's
Serpent.
Who's the mom?
Song of Achilles.
What was her name?
Serpent.
I already forgot.
I forgot, but
Serpent's daddy
we can
issues.
see her. Serpent's definitely daddy issues.
Yeah.
We all know how you feel about Serpent.
I don't have to
okay,
speak
Maddie?
on this.
Same.
You said daddy issues, Kaylee. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is fun because you like hated the dad and I love the dad. Haha, that's funny. I don't know. Why do I feel like mommy issues aren't well done?
They're always like, my mom's mean to me.
Yeah, like it's never real mommy issues are like my mother relies on me for emotional support and treats me like a spouse. Mommy issues in books are like what daddy issues are, but it like, oh, surprise, it's a mom because we're edgy.
I'm really trying to think through it here of yeah. No. I think daddy
what?
issues.
Yeah, which? Okay.
No, I just mean I was listening in my head. Sorry, I was like had to have.
She's
a moment
having
there.
a podcast
I was
in
trying.
her head.
I was trying. I was trying to do my due diligence and really think through the books we read. But yeah, that's what I land on is daddy issues. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay,
Yeah, I'm like, where else are the daddy issues? Are daddy issues underrepresented? Why is it always moms? Where are the dads? Where are the dads in fantasy books? Well, it's funny because the trope is like the moms are always dead. What's happening?
I also
here?
okay.
We need a greater analysis of
Bridge
this.
Kingdom. Bridge Kingdom daddy issues.
Daddy issues.
Don't even remember.
No, I
Right,
don't
main
either.
character.
Oh, right, because he did the assassin
Daddy,
thing.
daddy kill all sisters,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
or try to. I can't remember if he actually did.
Tried
Remember
to,
this?
tried
And
to.
then
Yeah,
she
yeah.
like has to go like save the country because he's being an asshole.
That's true. You don't get the daddy issues badge if you haven't actually had like more than 3 conversations with your dad. Like you gotta be.
That's fair.
I mean, he
That's fair.
sucks. Like, you know, what's her face? Don't let me take that away from you. But like, that's not the same.
It's just another way for us to say Vincent.
We're not going to talk about Vincent again. We're not going down that path.
And now we've entered the second half of the pod where we will discuss Vincent in depth again.
Vincent or no Vincent?
I'm leaving.
So no Vincent.
On that note.
Oh no, Vincent. Listen, I'm just saying when Vincent was no longer in the story, it got worse.
No. And I'm just saying Vincent was evil, okay?
She said no.
He was evil.
Silence.
God,
that's the
trying to
end.
strike me down. Okay. Whew. All right. Okay. Pull it together, ladies. Do we have any final thoughts on daddy issues?
In a silly, goofy mood. Okay.
Oh, we're in a silly, goofy mood. Okay. If everyone has said their piece, that is all that we have on this or that book edition. Next time, we will be talking about Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. It should be a real interesting one, so make sure to tune in. May not be what you expect. You can also stay up to date with the latest tea on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube by following us at Spill the Novel Tea on all of the things. And while you're there, please let us know. What is your this or that? What did we say that you disagree with? You know, do you prefer mommy issues or daddy issues? Explain why.
Do you dog ear your books? We want to know.
5-paragraph
Do you crack
essay.
your spines? Do you
Movie
take the cover off?
Stan?
You better.
We don't want to know.
There has to be
Feels nice.
someone out there that agrees with me on the cover thing. There has to be. Some of these original covers are ugly, y'all. I'm saying. Listen. Anyways, okay. We will see you next time.
Bye.